I am back. It's been a while, and I hope you forgive me. It wasn't on purpose. I have a lot of things going on. 2020 has started off with a bang, not a fizzle. I decided to do this thing called the Daniel Fast. It is pretty much clean vegan eating. And specifically, it's centered around spirituality more than just a diet. Ideally, what you're doing is that you are taking out all of the indulgence, the endorphin souped up food that we tend to eat, and that keeps us kind of functioning and not dealing with our issues. So in turn, we have opportunities to figure out what our triggers are, what bothers us, what makes us uncomfortable, what makes us unhappy, what makes us uneasy, anything like that, what makes us sad, what makes us revert back, what makes us angry. So coming in tune with that was very important for me. It's 21 days. So for the month of January as well as the month of February, I opted to do this Daniel fast, and it was absolutely amazing. It was probably some of the most profound things I've participated in. I also moved out. I'm excited about that. In order to make sure that I am the best version of myself, considering that I just jumped out of the bird's nest, I needed to isolate and be centered in what my weaknesses are, what my strengths are, where I want to make improvements, what sort of person I want to be, what type of purpose I want to fulfill. And that was an essential and important part of that experience. So in turn, I feel like I was able to gain all of that and then some. It had so many benefits, both emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, clearly, so cute. And I'm very happy that I did it. So here I am, moved out, and starting 2020 off in an exceptional place. So with that being said, February is the month of Black History and love. Today, I'm going to get in on this topic of love. And I feel like after all of the things that I've experienced, after all of the back and forth, the relationships, the different dynamics, that love is something that we have to understand so that when we come across it, we know how to deal with it, right? Because it's not always simple, and that's okay, because based on what people think love is, it's never just one little chip. It's a complexity. It's a series of things. And I went on Facebook and I decided to ask a bunch of my Facebook friends, like, what do you think love is? Like, give me your explanation. Some people said their children, some people said their friends, some people said their family, some people said their passions, some people said that tax return check after they had a rough year. And that to me, I thought was absolutely hilarious, so true and valid, and it still seemed a bit understated because some people had elaborate explanations, some people kept it really short because they're like, that should be sufficient. Like if I say family, if I say my children, as much as you see them on my Facebook, as much as you see me with them, as much as I give to my kids, as much as I give to my family, it should be a no-brainer. Like I shouldn't even have to explain that to you, type of deal, right? So it's very elaborate, or it's very short with an elaborated explanation, right? So for me, I've had an understanding of what love is based on my experience with it. And of course, you know, family, parents, children, different things like that, that form of love is a little bit different. And it only becomes particularly challenging when you realize it's like, yeah, you family, but I don't like you. But that walk down the street and you just met this person, but you want to talk to them and you feel like you can't sleep when they leave your house, like spousal love, relationship love, that one's a little bit more complex and it's a little bit different. So I started to think back on all of my understandings of relationships, all of the tidbits of advice and experiences again, like, you know, because I'm trying to figure out what is love, how does it fit in here, and how did I deal? Because of course, you know, love had shifted, you know, love had, you know, relationships don't last forever all the time, right? So in my experience, I haven't had that, you know, because I've been sitting here with a ring on and I could give you a little bit of different insight, but you know, not yet. Started to reflect. And I remember people would say things like, you know, hurt people. And you know, opposites attract and then they attack. And it's just like, damn, that's kind of cold. Like, is that all I got to look forward to? Like, and then it started to dawn on me because I'm like, I don't know how much I believe that. I don't know how much I believe that because it just doesn't sit right. Opposites attract and then they attack. I'm like, I ain't never heard nothing like that. I'm like, why? What is that for? And then it's like, hurt people. And it's like, well, what you want to hurt more people for? Ain't you tired of being sad? Don't you want to do something different? And then I had to think about it. So these are things that I knew, but I didn't quite believe it. So I came to this point where I'm experiencing certain things, and it's like, yeah, I knew that, but now I believe this. So I'm like, hurt people. Well, that makes sense. So I said, there's nice people that hurt people unintentionally. So it ain't just hurt people that hurt people. Everybody hurts people. That's regular. But why? And then opposites attract, and then they attack. I said, well, how does that happen? I never seen, black and white get into, well, I'll take that back. Let me not talk too quick. But I never seen two opposing colors decide to start attacking each other. Because that just don't make sense. And I was like, we got plenty forms of opposites that coexist right now. So if that was the case, men and women would be killing each other from like we wouldn't exist because we're opposites, right? We attract and then we attack, and it's like, well, that means we would have wiped each other out at some point or another. Am I wrong? And then I thought about it, and I said, maybe that's not it. I thought about a relationship that I had, and this relationship that I was in, I realized that me and this person were both insecure, but our display of insecurity was very different. So he experienced insecurity by being rebellious, by refuting everything. He experienced feeling better about himself through women. He would drink. He would have himself a good time. You see, for me, I was insecure. And the way that I went against my insecurity was that I went to school. I went to work. I found an outlet to make myself feel better. So it was both of our pick-me-ups. But in a dynamic that we shared with one another, it couldn't possibly work. Because at that point, we started to attack each other. Because the things that he was insecure about, I used to make myself feel better. The things that I was insecure about, he used to make himself feel better. So it's not that we were opposite at all. It's that we were exactly the same. But the elements in which we used to cope and deal with things would hurt one another tremendously. For instance, the North and South Pole, right? This is very fundamental. This is very simple. The North and South Pole, one is up, one is down. North and South, it can't get more opposite than that. East and West, it can't get more opposite than that. What's on the North Pole? Ice. What's on the South Pole? Ice. They opposites, ain't they? But they're exactly the same. You see, it was at that moment I realized I knew something. And now I can say I believe it. You see, the opposites that exist, how you go about dealing with whatever your issue may be, is what will perpetuate in your relationship and in turn compromise the relationship or build up the relationship. So in that, I had to reflect